All right, we're back.
Hey there.
Hey there.
New show, new you.
Yep. Every
How's
week.
it feel? New week.
Feels like a week. Yep. Pretty
Welcome to the
normal.
new you. Welcome to the new week.
Oh, hey, thanks.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
This week was the first week that my company made us go back into the office.
Oh, okay. How did that go?
So I have just completely lost track of what day everything is. Honestly, I had to be reminded like 3 times that I'm doing a podcast tonight.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, I don't know why. And you would think that the like added structure and
Yeah,
scheduling
would
would
remind
make me
you.
hyper aware of the days of the week.
Sure.
Nah, somehow it did the opposite.
Weird. Huh.
It's such a weird shift.
Does that mean you're back on transit?
Yes, I've been riding BART again.
Ugh. I'm sorry to hear
And
that.
you'd think, hey, they've had 2 years off, maybe they got better.
Yeah, that's what you would think.
And and you'd think, hey, not tons of people are now working remotely, doing hybrid. There's probably less people riding it, so maybe you get seats, maybe you're not crammed in there.
Yeah.
But to that they said, well, let's just use less trains so everyone feels just as crammed as they used to.
Oh, hell yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. And now the wait for a train is longer.
Excellent. They did it. They somehow
Yeah.
made it
No.
worse.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know, man. Being back in the office is definitely a trip. Um,
Yeah.
so
How long does it take you to get to work again? I can't
it's
remember.
like 45 minutes to an hour, depending on
Yeah,
how temperamental the train wants to be that morning or evening.
sure. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's a bummer. Just losing 2 hours every workday, essentially.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And so my sleep schedule is different now, and it's just, I don't know. We're
Oh,
still
yeah.
doing hybrid, so it's not every day I'm in the office, but it is still just like totally new and weird. It's like new but old
Yeah.
and weird, and
Is it kind of
I don't
nice
know.
seeing like coworkers again and just being like, oh, hey, I'm like part of this thing? Like remembering that you're part of like, you're a cog in a big machine.
I mean, like personally, nah.
Yeah,
'Cause
okay.
I personally am not getting a lot out of that. I know other coworkers really like that, but it's like I don't know. I'm seeing you is not worth losing 2 hours to the train
Sure.
and
Yeah,
having to wake up earlier every day now.
totally.
Um,
Yeah, I get that.
I'm really as a worker, as an employee, I'm really good at just working on my own and stuff. So working from home, I love working from home.
Sure.
Also, like I'm still not comfortable taking my mask off in the office. I seem to be like one of the only people like that. So that's
Sure.
just a drag to be wearing a mask with the commute like 10 hours a day.
Sure.
So,
Makes sense.
yeah.
Is there a mandate for it, or is it just a personal you want to do it in the
Personal
office?
me want to, because
Yeah.
like my thinking like and even like San Francisco in general has dropped the mask mandate. I
Right.
think they're even dropping the vaccine mandate, which sounds crazy to me. I
Sure.
don't know why you would do that, but um yeah, no, it's a personal thing, because like with everything being dropped, it's like, the virus is still here. You can't just be tired of it. It's not like the virus went away because you got tired of it.
Yeah.
So that's that. Yeah, that's my life right now. You're totally post two stuff. Is everything back to normal?
Yeah, for the most part, like I don't know, I'm still worried about brushing in that area normally, like vigorously, but
Okay.
like apparently that makes sense because, trauma to the gums or whatever, you probably don't want to just scrape it while it's still healing. So a couple
Sure.
more weeks that'll probably be fine, but like yeah, everything else is I can brush and floss normally and nothing hurts. I can eat normally, so that's all good again.
Cool.
Yeah, back to normal over here.
Right on. Right on. Well, with that, let's do the podcast. This is the top down perspective for March 10th. I'm Sean Booker.
I'm Paul Fleck.
And Paul, I guess let's just talk about Elden Ring again.
Yeah. I'm at the point now where I just actually today I found a site with a checklist, and I'm just gonna check off the last of the bosses I haven't finished. So
Okay.
I'm going for
Have
a
you
full
beat the game?
completion.
Like, have you seen credits?
No, because I'm scared that it'll go into New Game Plus and won't let me continue. So I want to do that stuff before I finish the last boss.
Okay. I'm assuming you could just Google that.
Without spoiling it though. It is I
I mean, I
was
bet there's a
asked.
way. Like, I'm just trying to like what the wording would be something like, "Can you continue after Elden Ring final boss?" And I bet there's an answer out there. Like, yeah, it'll pop you back in the world, or maybe it won't. I bet you could find that answer without a spoiler.
It doesn't
And I'm just
automatically
seeing in
go
the
to the
chat,
new
someone
game.
just gave you the answer right
Okay,
there.
cool. Yeah.
And for those listening, I'll just read it. It doesn't automatically go into New Game Plus. You have to choose it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm 100% sure that as soon as that last boss is done, I'm uninstalling this because I've been putting a lot of time into it, and other games will be coming out, and I can't have it just there.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm
You
getting
seem like the
everything
kind
I
of
can.
person that would like want to live in there for a bit.
I mean, I have. I'm at 80 something hours. I'm almost at 90 hours, and I'm
Yeah,
still
I
going
think I'm
strong.
nearing 20 hours at the moment.
Hmm.
I recently beat Margit.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. The Fell
at this
Omen.
point, I'm kind of playing it almost all co-op. Like I
Okay.
do some exploring on my own, and then I get to like a new area, and then I ask my buddy, "Hey, do you want to co-op this?" And I bring him in, and because the co-op is good enough, and I just keep making the flowers and bringing them back. So I'm slowly making my way through the castle right after Margit.
Okay. Yep. Cool.
Good. I'm liking it, man.
Yeah, it's very, very good. I'm at the one of the most bullshit bosses I've ever seen in a FromSoft game, and I'm just banging my head against it because it is fucked up, and I can't explain why without spoiling it, so I won't. But it is fucked up.
Sure. But I'm sure you probably like appreciate that because you want,
So
the next level.
yes and no. The fight is awesome, except the boss does one thing, which is basically an instant kill, and I hate that in every video game. So
Okay. Yeah.
that's a problem. I'm sure like there's a way to get around it. I just haven't figured out how to consistently because it's kind of a fucked up move that they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right
But
on.
yeah, it's been cool.
I just got the ability to shoot fireballs, so that's pretty cool because now I got some ranged attacks.
Are you doing like all sorceries then?
No, I'm primarily using like a sword.
Oh, okay.
But I have the ability to do magic, but the only spell I had up to this point was like a stealth spell and a healing spell. The healing spell is
Okay.
great. I use that thing all the time.
Right, you're a
But now I have
confessor,
like
right?
confessor.
That's right. Yeah.
But I finally came across a merchant who would sell me some other spells, and I bought a fireball attack,
Cool.
which I like quite a bit. Um, I don't like the bows and the crossbows that much, so I didn't have much options for ranged.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I always have a bow just because sometimes you want to pull an enemy without like
Yeah.
jumping into a crowd. So,
Yeah. Oh no,
yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, otherwise I agree. I've never liked ranged combat in these games very much myself, so I definitely agree with you.
Yeah, it's good. It seems like everyone on the internet is still playing it, which is exciting because you get to be part of that zeitgeist. So it's enjoying. I'm enjoying it from a few different angles. Um, yeah, I'm gonna probably be playing it on and off for a while. You're right though. Lots of stuff's coming out at the end of March, so we'll see kind of what happens around there. But I want to see this one through.
Yeah. Uh I think I have about a week left in it because Tunic comes out this time next week, and I'm definitely wanting to jump into that.
Oh, does it? I didn't
Yeah.
even realize that. Okay. I
So I have another
think
solid
that's a
week.
Game Pass game, isn't it?
I don't remember, but it's been consuming all of my time, and not necessarily in a way that's like, well, there is the draw of I need to like see if I can beat this on this attempt or another try or just like a whole new area to explore or whatever. But a lot of it is, oh shit, it's been 5 hours. How the hell am I still playing this? Like I've just lost so much time or track of time playing it, which has been insane to me. But it's
Okay.
addictive. The sense of like going to a spot, finding something, and then kind of falling down the rabbit hole of like how far does this sometimes literal hole go? Let's just keep
Right.
going.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tunic is not Game Pass.
Okay. Bummer. That seems like a that seems like it would be a Game Pass game, but sure. Maybe eventually.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it hit Game Pass sooner or
Eventually.
later. It
Yeah.
feels like most games do a victory lap
Yeah.
with Game Pass at some point, but it's not launching day one on Game Pass. So,
Yeah. But
but I'm looking forward to that too.
that's
That'll
kind
be
of
a
like
nice like
the start of the end
breezy break
for me.
from Elden Ring.
Yeah. So you're just probably going to pick up Elden Ring in between stuff, I would assume, for like I assume the rest of the year, or at least until you get sick of it or something.
I'm hoping to not go away from it for too long that I
Yeah.
forget the combat and everything.
Yeah.
Um, because honestly, playing that as well as Horizon at the same time is hard
Sure.
because the controls are just so different.
Sure.
Um, like sometimes I'm trying to run but in Elden Ring I crouch. It's like, oh wait, crap, that's right.
Or like send your horse away or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
or like drink a healing potion when I'm already at full health. I
Yeah.
was trying to jump or something.
Yeah, I tried actually playing a little bit of Bloodborne because Nathan was talking about it. I was like, I'll jump back in and see, like, take a look at that game in between some stuff. And I just stopped after a couple hours because I was like, this is too weird. Elden Ring plays different enough that I'm getting the buttons mixed up in my head. So, like, if I'm going to play Bloodborne again, like, I'm going to sit down and just do that. I can't bounce between two games that are so similar but so differently laid out controller wise.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that's pretty much what I'm doing. So, but it'd be like that sometimes.
It'd be like that sometimes. Do you have a go-to in Elden Ring? Like we haven't really deep dived into how you feel about that game. I don't think like mechanically, because obviously the
A go
exploration is
to in Elden Ring? What do you mean?
like. Is there a certain? It sounds like you're doing co-op a lot. Are you summoning a whole bunch? Do you have like different weapons you're trying out, or do you kind of
Oh,
have
like my
like a
go-to strategy and whatnot,
yeah,
like a fight and everything. Yeah, I'm always summoning. I'm going in there. Wolves are coming out for sure.
yeah, right, sure, or
Um,
like your buddy if you're playing with somebody or whatever, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Um, yeah, if it's like a small dungeon, because I'm going through a guide, so I can kind of see the length of the dungeon or the cave or whatever. If it's a
sure,
small one, I'll usually do it myself.
yeah, sure.
But if it's like a longer one, I'll be like to my friend, "Hey, why don't you come in?" Because I don't want to like invite him in, us run through a dungeon in 5 minutes and be like, "Okay, bye. Thanks for the session." Um,
Yeah, the catacombs and mini dungeons and stuff definitely feel like they're not exactly tailored towards co-op with a buddy because they are very
yeah,
short.
exactly. They can be short, and then your buddy gets like booted out of there.
Yeah.
Unless I have like a line of them ready to go, I have to go find the next one or whatever. And so that's what I'm saying. A
Oh,
lot of the exploration
yeah.
I'm doing myself, but when I come across like a larger one, where I know, oh, we can get like a solid hour out of this together, then I'll bring my buddy in and we're having fun helping each other out and whatnot. And he's way further in the game than I am, so
Right.
he's almost kind of just goofing around
Yeah.
while I'm slowly failing. um,
Yeah. I'm going to assume Margit has been the hardest boss that you've downed so far by a long shot.
well, no, because I did it in co-op, so it took us 2 attempts.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that one took me
Um,
hours.
yeah, no, and I understand. I keep hearing like Margit's your first skill check and stuff, but I didn't do it by myself, and I did it with someone who did Margit days ago, so it really wasn't. Like the game is
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot easier in co-op. So
Yeah.
honestly, the hardest boss was probably like the very first one I came across, which was
The
that
Erd Tree
cat statue
Burial.
with the sword,
Yeah.
because I had no summons at that time. I hadn't like that was just the first thing I ran up against where I was like, I think I can beat this, and I did that all pure self. That was probably the hardest one for sure.
Sure. Yeah.
Now at the point, if I get to a boss where like I'm just getting stomped, I'm like, well, I'm just gonna text my buddy and be like, "Do you have 5 minutes?" And he's like, "Yeah," and I'll bring him in and we'll get the boss done.
All right, fair enough. What
Yep.
how many bosses, I guess like it's hard to keep count. What boss do you think is the coolest that you've seen so far?
I mean, Margit's definitely cool just because of how like big it was,
Yeah.
and I had the item that like is good against him. So that was kind of fun to have that aspect. I did come across like a big tree
Yeah,
boss dude he was standing next to like a glowing tree. That one was pretty cool. I had to
sure.
use like every crossbow bolt I had
Yeah,
and just shoot him from afar because he does way too much damage.
sure.
But then there's been stuff like a dragon came down and it's like I'm not going anywhere near that.
Yeah,
No way. That thing is huge.
yeah, fair enough. I mean, at some point, obviously you will, but not yet. Not today.
Yeah, no, I got to get braver. I got to get stronger to do that kind of stuff. So
Sure. Cool. Glad to hear you're enjoying
that's
it
all you've
at
been
least.
playing.
Yep, that's it.
I've been touching a small game that came to Game Pass last week called Far Changing Tides.
Yeah, is this as short as Loan Sales?
I don't know what
You
Lone
know?
Sales is.
It's the first one in the Far series.
This is a sequel?
Yeah. Well, I don't
Oh,
know if it's direct or just like another one in that universe, but
I have no idea about this game. I'm seeing this game's about 8 hours long.
oh wow. Okay, the first one's like 3, I think, maybe 2.
Okay.
So yes, much longer.
I'll have to look up and kind of see the lineage to kind of get more of a backstory on this. This pretty much plays like a Limbo or an Inside where you're just side scrolling through a cool looking environment. It's not like black and white like Limbo was. This
Right.
definitely has color. But the big change in the mechanic here is you have like a big boat ship
Mhm.
in the water that you are either raising the sails to make move or you're getting more engine pieces and stuff to it, so you'll get like a combustion engine and then you have to like put garbage into the fire and jump up and down to like light the fire and yada, and that'll make you go faster. And I just got, I think, the option to be able to submerge my ship, but it's not an exploration game. You're just moving to the side, and
Right.
every like 5 minutes of sailing you'll hit like some kind of obstacle where you have to do a bit of puzzle platforming to move the obstacle around. Honestly, I find this game kind of boring.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, just what I know from the first one, I could see a section of people definitely being like it's slow and meandering in a way that they don't enjoy.
Yeah, it is really slow and meandering, which usually is pretty fine for me, but a lot of the times it is just like, nope, I'm gonna sit here and make sure the sail is upright. Sometimes the
Yeah.
wind pushes it to the side, so I pull it back to the other side so that I can hit the top speed.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be doing that for like a solid 5 to 7 minutes, and nothing's really going to change.
Sure.
And then the
Yeah.
puzzles are like fine, but nothing incredible. Like it's not like, wow, look at this cool mechanic. It's literally like, oh, you got to climb up here so that you hook this thing up to that thing, come back down here, and now you have access to the lever. Go ahead. That's the
Sure.
puzzle. Um, so yeah, it's pretty slow. It looks nice, but honestly, it's kind of like it's just a total like middle of the road kind of game. It's not doing anything bad, but
Yeah.
it's not doing anything like great. So, I can't really knock it, but I can't really like champion any one aspect of it.
Sure.
Um, but if you're looking for a great podcast game, it's on Game Pass. That's Far Changing Tides. I'll probably finish it because it is just like a real chill thing to kind of put on if I'm wanting to podcast or if I'm just chatting with someone. I can put that on.
Sure. Makes sense.
And yeah, that's all I've been playing. So let's go through some news.
Yeah. I pulled this first one because it came up on my feed and I kind of forgot that this was even a thing, but the Canadian Game Awards is a thing as of a couple years ago. It started in 2020 during pandemic year or whatever. But the reason this came across my feed is because they announced their nominees for 2022.
Yeah, I might argue that the regular Game Awards, the Game Awards, capital T, the Game Awards, is the Canadian Game Awards because Jeff Keighley's Canadian.
Well, here's the thing. Jeff Keighley, I think, is like nominated for one of the categories as like not a content creator, but maybe like a person in gaming or whatever. So these are all games and these are all awards based on companies that develop games in Canada, like Canadian developers and companies and stuff like that.
Okay, okay.
There is a lot of nominees, so I don't really want to go through every one of them, every category or whatever, because there's like a lot of esports ones. There's a lot of
They've
content.
also already announced the winners.
No, they didn't. 2022 nominees.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the 2021. Why is the 2021?
I don't know.
Okay, sorry, no, I clicked the big red official nominees announcement, and I didn't see the small print.
Oh,
2021.
does it go to? That's hilarious. Why would they have that? Yeah,
Okay,
I
now
see
I'm
it
in the
on the
right
main
one.
page.
Honestly, the page for the 2021 is way easier to read because it's not just a huge list of the
Yeah.
same colored text. It's like split out and stuff.
Yeah, this list is absolutely disgustingly huge. Like I'll go through the quick game ones, the developer ones, because there's a few of them. But if you're interested, there's like a whole bunch for esports people, a whole bunch for content creators and accolade awards and all that sort of thing.
The Game Awards have all this too.
Yeah, it's a lot, but for the I guess the main ones at the top here, developer awards, there's best art direction, best game design, best sound score / soundtrack, best performance, best narrative, and audio design. And for best art,
Okay, these categories are weird. These are some weird like first off,
well, so here's the thing. Best
esports organization.
That's what I mean, man. Is like don't even bother reading any of that shit because who cares?
Because like honestly, when it comes to the esports stuff for the Game Awards, it's like I don't even know who these people are. I barely know what these events are. Now you're doing esports organization. It's like, how granular are you gonna get it? It's gonna be like best esports computer of the year.
Dude.
Then if you go to the content creator awards, not only do they have best content creator / show, which aren't those two different? Okay, anyway, then they have best streamer. Wouldn't that make more sense to put that with the content creator?
No, and then what's the next one?
Best personality.
It's the streamers again, basically.
I mean, to be fair, like I'm looking at these lists real quick. There's not a ton of overlap. It's not like 3 people, but there is like a streamer who's also in the personality one.
There's two of them.
What makes you a streamer and not a personality?
Yeah.
And not a content creator. Like, okay. And then here's other weird stuff. So I'm looking at the year accolades, which these are like kind of the game specific ones. And it's such like an old school mentality. Best console game. Best PC game.
Best PC, best console, best mobile. Yeah, it's hilarious.
Like they're like 1 degree away from best PlayStation 5 game of the year, which is like such an old idea that like doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah, it gets super granular. That's why I don't think any of those matter.
Guardians of the Galaxy is on both the PC and the console game list. Like, doesn't
it could win twice?
Prove that these lists are nonsense?
It could win twice.
Best PC game, The Discovery Tour Viking Age from Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Oh my god, it actually has that. Yeah, I just read it.
It's also on the console game.
Yeah, it's on both. Actually, both of them Far Cry 6 is not on PC game. I thought for sure it would be on both as well because it's up for a bunch of other stuff at the top categories.
It's like we need to have something Ubisoft on here. What did Ubisoft put out last year?
I mean, they're up for Studio of the Year, which is
of course they are like
fucking travesty.
Of course they are.
They're
like,
up there twice.
Many studios in Canada.
They're up there twice for Toronto and Montreal. Yeah. And again, so many esports organizations. It's crazy. There's so many.
Okay, so
my
game
favorite
of the year. Let's just go through those categories, those nominees real quick. FIFA 22. Okay.
For for game of the year.
It's probably the only one where you'd ever get a sports game in the game of the year nominees.
Probably, yeah.
Far Cry 6, Guardians of the Galaxy, Echo Generation. I played through that. I don't think that's a game of the year contender, but okay. Boyfriend Dungeon, I enjoyed. I don't think it's okay.
Yeah, game of the year seems weird. Then Fan Choice Award. Goose Duck. I don't think I even know what that is. Like I could assume what it is, but I've never heard of it. Super Animal Royale is hilarious. That's a hilarious choice. Chicory or whatever. That's a legitimate one a lot of people love.
Yeah, for sure.
Chivalry 2 is a legitimate one a lot of people love. And obviously Guardians of the Galaxy is one that
I have a hard time seeing. Like, I feel like Guardians of the Galaxy is just gonna take this. What do you think is gonna? Who's gonna win Game of the Year?
for the game of the year. I mean, I don't know. It might be Far Cry 6. It might be one of those two, depending on who's voting in this thing. But I don't think it'll be Boyfriend Dungeon.
No, I mean, shoutouts. I like Boyfriend Dungeon. I played through that whole game.
Yeah,
It's a good time.
yeah. I don't think it'll be that
Goose
though.
Goose Duck is on the mobile game list, so it's some kind of mobile game.
Oh, okay. That makes sense why it would be a fan choice, I guess, then. Probably a lot of people have played it, and then we're just old.
I don't know. I have a feeling that it's like, here's the list of games you can choose from. Here's all the games that came out of Canada, and they were just like, oh man, okay. Well, we gotta put Far Cry, I guess. It's probably the biggest one.
But, like, if you look at the developer awards, why isn't some of these in these categories? Like Inscription, or Age of Empires 4, or Clan O'Connell and the Crown of the Stag. Like, these are games that are legitimately good.
I didn't know the Age of Empires developer is Canadian. I didn't know that.
Oh, apparently. Well, according to this, they must be. So, okay, this is another thing that's really weird. This is the one that threw me off the most. Is best performances in here, and it's for people that aren't Canadian because they're performers, but their game is, which it seems like you should not be including these, my dude. You should have Canadian performers.
Oh, that is a weird one.
That's the one that I'm just like, yeah, Giancarlo Esposito is
Jack
not.
Black, Psychonauts 2. Double Fine is in San Francisco. I've walked past that office.
As Mote of Light, Psychonauts 2.
Is Jack Black Canadian? Is that how he's in here?
Wait, what?
How does that make sense?
There's no way, right? I'm pretty sure he's not.
I'm trying to look up. Where is Jack Black from?
Yeah, no, he's from California.
He's from California. Why is that on here?
I don't know.
Dominic Monaghan, Dark Threads. Is he Canadian? What is Dark Threads?
Dominic Monaghan. We know Giancarlo Esposito is not. I'm assuming John McLaren isn't?
Dominic Monaghan is 45 years old? I would never guess that. He's from Berlin.
Oh, okay. Actually, John McLaren, who plays Star-Lord, is actually from Ottawa. So that's a legitimate one.
Guardians of the Galaxy is also Montreal.
Yeah, at least that game was made again. Yeah. I'm honestly wondering why Jack Black is here at all.
Dominic Monaghan game is from a studio in Toronto, so that would make sense. I still can't figure out the Jack Black one at all.
Man, I should just like text them on Twitter and see why is this even here. I wonder if they have an answer. If they're just like, because he donated money to our cause or something like that.
Well, I mean, he did a role in this game, but I'm just thinking, like, does maybe because maybe Double Fine, like, remote status, they had like an employee in Canada, so they're like,
so it counts.
That's all. I don't know.
Jack Black is a citizen of the world. That must be it. Yeah, that must be it. Anyways, so those nominees came through, and I found that interesting. Also, another thing that I pulled is that they announced the main games for EVO for 2022. So that game, the main tournament lineup for EVO is Street Fighter V, surprising nobody, Championship Edition, Guilty Gear Strive, Mortal Kombat 11, Tekken 7, King of Fighters 15, Melty Blood Type Lumina, Dragon Ball Fighters, Fighter Z, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, and Skullgirl Second Encore. Honestly, not a surprising list at all.
Yeah, and I think they announced sometime late last week, Smash will not be here.
Right.
Before they did this list.
Yeah.
Okay, and then some stuff I pulled. Sony had a state of play. Did you watch this?
I did not.
It was a bit of a sleeper, in my opinion. It was 20 minutes long, but they put a lot of trailers, like it was nonstop trailers, which was cool.
Okay.
They started off with a game that everyone thought might be Dino Crisis, but then it was not Dino Crisis, which
Wow.
is what everyone's referring to it as, is Capcom's not Dino Crisis game
Okay.
called Exo Primal. I don't know, it looks kind of like it's a co-op shooter, but instead of a whole bunch of zombies running at you, it's a bunch of dinosaurs running at you.
Oh, this already exists. It's called like, what is it? Second Extinction or something. It's on Game Pass. So that's
Okay.
hilarious.
Well, this is Exo Primal. Oh.
Yeah, I'm looking at the trailer real quick right now. Oh yeah, this looks more okay. Yeah, this does not look as much of what I was talking about. This looks more like uh World War Z or whatever.
Yeah, because there's even like a shot where they're like pooling up the dinosaurs and trying to run over top of each other. Like it looks very World War Z like.
Yeah.
I'm now seeing that this article I pulled from Kotaku did not put it in order. Thanks, Kotaku. So I'm just gonna go in the order they did it.
Okay.
Square Enix announced 2 RPGs.
Okay.
The Dio Field Chronicle, which seems to be some kind of tactics RPG, and then a new Valkyria profile game called Valkyrie Elysium.
Interesting. I'm looking at the Diofeld Chronicle right now. I mean, it's pretty, but from just jumping around, there's nothing grabbing me necessarily right away.
One thing that did grab me, Returnal's getting a free update, the 3.0 update, which is adding co-op.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a PlayStation, so I don't care, but sure. That's awesome.
It's also adding a new area and a new endless mode that has narrative hooks in it. So that
Cool.
sounds very cool to me. They did another trailer for Ghostwire Tokyo. Sure.
Okay. Yeah, why not?
Yep. Forspoken, they did another trailer for that. That game was also delayed earlier this week.
Yeah,
That game still
right.
looks cool.
It does, yeah.
Stranger of Paradise. There's a demo up for that game now.
Oh, okay.
A new Gundam game. Okay.
Sure.
Did a TMNT the Cowabunga collection.
Oh,
Which
cool.
this was pretty
Okay.
cool, and it collects
13 games? Okay.
Yep. Like there's a lot.
Okay, so we
Honestly,
got
the best thing about this trailer was the music. It just has great music.
TMNT, the arcade version, Turtles in Time arcade version, the NES, TMNT 2, 3 on the NES, and Tournament Fighters on Super Nintendo. We have 4 Tournament Fighters, Hyperstone Heist up from Genesis, and Tournament Fighters from Genesis as well. Follow the Foot Clan from the Game Boy, Back from the Sewers from the Game Boy, and Radical Rescue from Game Boy, all in one. That's a lot of games. All right. Are you going to get this thing? This seems like a John thing.
It seems like I wish John was supposed to be here today. He actually got back to me, Paul, and just said that something came up.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
I would love to know what he thinks about this collection, so I want to ask him about that.
For sure.
A game called Gigabash, which honestly I don't think I was paying attention during this one. I haven't really heard anyone talk.
What is this, like a kaiju fight? Oh, this is
something kaiju related. Yeah,
this game. Well, not this one, but there was games like this on the PS2 and like stuff. War of the Monsters game. Okay, that's what it was back then. But weird, they're making that again. JoJo.
A new JoJo Bizarre Adventure fighting game.
Okay, cool.
Showed another trailer for Trek to Yomi, which I also found out this week that's coming to Game Pass. So cool.
Oh, dope.
That's one of the ones I'm more interested in.
I want to play that one too.
And that's all this article has. And I can't remember if there was anything it missed. So yeah, nothing huge. I think the state of play was like games coming from our Japanese studios.
Okay.
There you go. Which, now to think about it though, the TMNT one is coming from Other Ocean, which is not a Japanese studio as far as I know. But
okay. Yeah.
Cool. Psychonauts 2 is Jack Black, Canadian. Anything is anything at these days.
Yep.
Announced today Overwatch 2 resurfaced. And they said that a beta is launching in April. You can sign up for the beta now. It's not going to have the PvE mode. It'll just be the PvP.
Sure.
I still can't help but be excited for more Overwatch. I like that first game.
Sure. I found out about
We
this
got a
because
release date for Gotham Knights,
Mhm.
October 25th.
Yeah, okay. Halloween. Makes
And
sense.
Advance Wars, the once delayed game, is getting delayed indefinitely. Nintendo
Yes.
came out, and I'll just read the tweet here. In light of recent world events, we have made the decision to delay Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, which was originally scheduled to release on Nintendo Switch on April 8th. Please stay tuned for updates on a new release date.
Sure. As somebody in our Discord said, makes sense considering the first game starts off with you being a team based on Russia invading another country. So it makes
Yep,
sense.
no, definitely makes sense. Um, I was about to ask, so when do you think they're going to release it? But then that's also kind of asking, so when do you think this war is going to be over? So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. There's no point asking that question. Um, yeah, poor Advance Wars, never gonna come out.
Yeah.
And this last news story, Sony and Amazon seem to be working. Great, this link I grabbed isn't working. Anyway, seem to be working on a God of War TV show.
Oh, okay.
Live action. That there's no real news about it. It wasn't even confirmed, but it seems like it's being like eyed by Amazon. Sure. I wonder if this has anything to do with that quote from The Rock a few months back saying he's bringing one of the most iconic game franchises to the big screen. Remember we thought God of War?
Yeah.
Lining up. I know this isn't the big screen. This is a show, not a movie, but
It counts.
maybe, maybe plans changed since The Rock tweeted.
Yeah,
Makes
could
sense
be.
though. Like Sony's doing a ton of, multimedia stuff with their properties right now. If you want to hear about the Uncharted movie, there's a TVP all about that.
Yeah. We got you covered.
Would you watch a God of War TV show?
If there's nothing else that I'm currently like interested in, yeah, probably. Why not?
Game wise, when would you want the show to start?
Oh, I think it I don't know that I wanted to start. I think it would probably start with like before he becomes like it would be his origin of like his family being
So
brutally
you think we
murdered
would
or
see him
whatever.
go through
The change or
all of
whatever.
the Greek stuff?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. It seems yeah, it depends how they do it. It seems weird to just like jump that far ahead unless they just ignore that stuff completely, which they could.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, because if they don't do like the current stuff, then you wouldn't get Atreyu in it, right? Isn't that the kid's name, Atreyu?
Something like that. Yeah, I can't remember what it is
His
actually.
son, regardless. You wouldn't get that, which there's not a lot of supporting cast in those first three games.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know how you would do that. They could obviously make new characters and stuff. It would be cool though if they did started it with the current one and they did like lost style flashbacks
Oh, sure.
to
I could see that.
the Greek stuff.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah. Weird PTSD moments where something brings them back to like murdering Hermes or something.
Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing is like as a character, I feel like Kratos didn't have any depth until the most recent game. Before he was
Right.
just an anger machine. And if they're going to try and base a show around this character, he needs some emotional excuse me, some emotional depth other than I like to murder and once during this game, I'm going to find two chicks in a bed and sleep with them to get some extra experience
Yeah.
points.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
So I
I
guess
don't
we'll
know.
see. I'll check it out. Like that's my promise to you.
Okay.
A Halo show's coming out soon.
Yeah. I am a little excited about that, but I don't know how that's going to line up with other stuff. Maybe TVP. Who knows? I guess depends what we're doing.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for news. Let's do some questions. If you would like to send a question in, topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. This first one comes from Matthew, An evac vehicle is right outside your house. You only have 20 minutes to pack whatever you can and board it. What are you going to bring with you?
Obviously a suitcase full of clothes and just like basic necessities. My cat.
What are your
Uh,
basic necessities? Remember, you have 20 minutes.
yeah, probably just like toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, like just like you're packing an overnight bag essentially, right? Like basic toiletries. Maybe like a toilet paper roll or two because you don't know
Toilet
where.
paper roll would be pretty good.
Yeah.
I guess I was thinking more survival esque. So
Okay.
I was thinking longer term than like an overnight bag.
Well, I mean, the toiletry, I'm thinking like I would pack a suitcase full of like that stuff and then like a bag with, yeah, like probably some matches. Like, I don't know if I have duct tape, so I couldn't do something like that. Probably a
I
knife.
have duct tape. I would. That's what I'm thinking. Like, so I'm trying to think like real world scenario. What's probably happening? I'm probably getting hit with a tsunami based on my location, or there's like we're about to get flooded.
Sure.
So I think if I have 20 minutes to get out of here, I'm grabbing some duct tape. I'm grabbing a knife,
Yeah, a
some kind of
knife,
multi tool.
definitely.
Honestly, I'm probably just grabbing like the tool kit and just throwing that whole thing in there and hoping that there's a knife in there. Um,
Yeah.
I'm grabbing some matches.
Yeah. Anything, something to start fire for sure.
Um, I'm probably grabbing a water bottle and just the biggest water bottle I have and just having the sink fill it up as I'm throwing stuff in a bag.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm grabbing my hiking boots.
Okay. Honestly, after grabbing like all the basic stuff you would think you would need, you're probably at like 15 to 20 minutes already. So you're
Yeah. I
probably
mean,
done.
so that's the main question is like, am I going to be coming back to this apartment? Is this
Yeah.
literally just like I need to like because that's if it's like what's the most valuable thing? It's like okay, I'm probably gonna grab like my PS5.
Oh, yeah. Okay. If
Like, is
it's
my
like,
apartment going to be fine, or is this place about to be ruined and I'm gonna be like stranded in the forest for a little bit until I can
right,
find other survivors or refuge?
right. Is this I have to leave because like somebody's after me and when they catch him, I can go back to my life? Or is this like my world is changing and I'm going to be stuck somewhere forever now?
Yeah, I'm probably grabbing my passport. I don't even know if that's gonna be useful, but it's probably just going to be something that I might want on me.
Yeah, 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 for sure.
Is there anything like in my room that I would grab? Not really. I'd grab like a good jacket.
Yeah. And again, if it's a disaster thing, it definitely would depend on where you live. Like here, I would be like looking for anything that would be a heat source that I could use or
Heat.
whatever.
Yeah, yours would be heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of natural disasters up in Alberta. It's like you don't have like tornado threats or anything like that, or
No.
earthquakes. It's a pretty good spot, but you do have the cold.
Yeah. We definitely have tornadoes, but they're not a threat. They're pretty
I mean,
tame.
I've never once like we don't have tornadoes to the point of like, do you know where your tornado shelter is? Like we don't get those kind of
Oh yeah, no, no.
tornadoes.
We don't have I don't even know if we have tornado shelters like specifically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, someone's saying in the chat, basically a bug out bag, which I don't think I have a bug out bag actually like prepped,
Yeah, I
which I
used to have
probably
some
should do
basic
that.
things like prepped in a bag, but when I moved, I don't know, I think we just kind of like put that stuff away. I should probably make one again just in case. You never know.
Oh yeah. I think I might have like an emergency kit in the car,
Like a
which is
med
another
kit sort of thing.
like something with like a blanket and flashlight for
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
ever
yeah.
like got broken down out in the middle of nowhere driving.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to have.
Yeah. Rasterman writes, "Today a manga series I've been reading for years has ended and I'm not really sure how to feel about it not being there anymore. What do you do when something you've been following for a long time reaches its conclusion? Do you immediately move on to something else or ponder for a while before doing so?"
Sounds to me like this person is free and they can finally go outside.
There, I'm trying to. I'm sure there's an answer to this that I just can't think of the specifics of, but I know there have been things that I followed for a long time, and then there's like this weird sense of loss when it's gone, and I
Oh,
don't.
I get it.
I'm just
I
trying
absolutely get it.
to think of what I followed like
I mean, this has definitely happened with me with like tons of media properties. I'm sure it happened with like a manga or like a TV show I liked that finally ended after so long.
If you're a big anime person, this probably happens frequently because yeah.
Yep. I mean, I think personally, since I absorb so much media, there's always something else on my backlog, regardless of what kind of entertainment it is. So I'm moving on to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, like let's use like an RPG game for example. I blazed through Tales of Arise, and when you're done that game, it's like, man, I made these characters like so powerful, and I got such cool weapons. It's a bummer to be like done with them. That kind of sucks.
Yeah, I mean, this time next week, probably, I will definitely be inconsolable crying mess because Elden Ring has done for me. And that part of my life is gone.
There is also the other side of it is like you don't want the thing to overstay its welcome because
Mm,
then you grow to just be like, why is this thing still here? Like
yeah,
nobody wants this. Come on, let the thing die
there is
already.
a weird balance that I would maybe even argue most things never get right. Like, it's either there 1 or 2 seasons, maybe longer than you would have liked, or gone like 5 seasons before you were ready.
Like I think of my favorite TV show, Scrubs.
Okay.
All time, it's my favorite TV show.
Wow. Okay.
They did an extra 2 seasons after like almost all of the cast left, or maybe just 1 season. I can't quite remember. They tried to do
Sure.
like a weird half spin-off thing, and it's terrible. And it's like, why is this even here? Like this, why does this have the Scrubs name on it? And you can just tell it was just like a cash grab to keep it going and stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
don't do this. You should have left it. You had such a good ending. What are you doing?
Similarly, I really like The Office. And The Office was like 2, maybe 3 seasons longer than it should have been.
Sure. I do like a lot of the last few Office. There's some good parts in there for sure, but
I
I
mean,
get
there's
it. Like
bits and pieces, but like after Carell leaves, it's like the soul has kind of left it, and they're all juggling to try to see like what they could do this week.
it is definitely like weird. There's just like a whole weird scenario of when it loses a major cast member like that.
Yeah.
Um, when a show does end like 5 seasons too early or whatever, it just shows like how great that was, and then you're
Yeah.
always like, God, it was so good. All of it was so good.
Like for me, it's Firefly. The fact that that just got canned after 1 season is a travesty because that should have at least had a couple, which
Sure.
which you can even see because Serenity was kind of supposed to like fit in a couple seasons worth of arcs in 1 2 hour thing, and it's like, oh, there's cool ideas in here that they didn't spend any time on.
You have like a preferred like like number of seasons where you're like, I like shows that are this season many seasons long because it's like the ideal. It doesn't overstay its welcome. I got enough
Five.
of it. Five.
For if we're talking long form, like almost sometimes drama or thriller type stuff, then 5. If it's like a serialized comedy, whatever, just until like it's obvious that the writers are done with it and they're phoning it in. But for like a small series like Breaking Bad or Dexter or like that sort of thing where it's a giant story split up into different arcs or whatever, I like 5 usually.
I do. Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I do have a soft spot though, almost like a comfort food of shows that are on for a long time. Like
Sure.
Bob's Burgers has like 12 seasons.
Yeah,
And
but
whenever I get a
that fits into the
notification on my
second
phone
part.
that there's a new
Yeah.
Bob's Burgers episode, it's like, hell yeah, I'm gonna watch a new Bob's Burgers tonight, and that's great.
That's part of the second part of what I was saying though. Like along like running serialized comedy especially, it's just kind of like,
Yeah,
yeah, I want this to go as long as it's obvious the people making it want it to go on, and that's not a cash grab.
yeah. And like I'm feeling similarly with like Futurama right now, and they're bringing it like back again, and it's like
Yeah.
this is perfect timing because I was doing a rewatch, showing my girlfriend it for the first time, and now there's gonna be new Futurama in like 2 years. Like hell yeah, I get to hang out with my buddies again.
How do you feel about these kind of weird like short series or long movies that like the MCU basically are doing, where it's like 6 episodes of a thing and then we're out. Are they too long or too short, or like because they're in this weird
I like
spot
'em.
where their pacing isn't as tight and like interesting as a movie would be, where they have to fill in 2 hours or whatever and then they're out, but they're like not long enough where they can really build either.
I feel like the ones we've seen have been long enough for the stories they've done so far, and some of them are getting multiple seasons. Um, but I like them for different reasons. Like movies have their strengths, TV shows have their strengths.
Yeah.
So I get to be with characters longer. I get to see different stuff that wouldn't have shown up in a movie. So I'm for them. It's just like how I'm not going to sit there and be like, well, now that they're making Marvel movies, they should just stop making Marvel comics. No, because comics have
Yeah.
their place, TV shows have their place, movies have their place.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone wins. You don't have to watch it if you don't want to.
Unless you do a podcast about it, then you are legally obligated to.
The Phantom Aegis writes March 10th, which is today. Oh
Today?
shit, it's Mario
It's
Day.
Mario
Happy
Day.
Mario Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. To everyone listening, happy Mario Day.
Yeah.
What did you do to celebrate Mario?
I mean, I worked today.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
And then I came home and we're doing this.
I don't think I even touched a Nintendo platform today.
Yeah. I have not yet. So
Played some Elden Ring. That's how I celebrated
that's
Mario.
pretty much Mario. There is like a shell shield at some point that you can
have
get.
the shell shield.
Okay.
Yes.
That's basically you can jump, which is like the first Souls
jump.
game with like a jump button. So
I don't think you can jump on things, but you can jump.
you can definitely jump on things, but you just slide off of them usually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. March 10th is Mario Day.
Yeah.
You will all go have dinner with Charles Martinet. There's a
Okay.
catch. For 1 to 2 hours, he has to talk as a character.
Oh.
Who do you choose? Mario, Luigi, Wario, or Waluigi?
Oh, this is a fucking nightmare.
I think this is easy, and I think it's Luigi.
Oh, for me it's Wario, because playing that game on DS, it's just like a gravelly sounding dude.
I think Luigi is the most normal human voice out of the 4 of them.
The thing is that no matter who you choose, it's a racist stereotype that you don't want to be seen in public.
Well, because so Mario, you're like talking to a puppet for 2 hours.
You do not want Mario. He might be the worst option next
Mario's
to Waluigi.
I think the worst one. I'm having a hard time differentiating really like Waluigi and Wario from each other because they both say "wah."
Sure.
And like Luigi just sounds like a really shy, kind of like unsure of himself guy. So that's why I think Luigi. That's why I think it's an easy answer.
Does he play any characters that are just silent? Because like that would be probably better.
Well, then how is he playing them?
I don't. Making
He's a
like
voice
a
actor.
sound every now and then, I guess.
Well, then they're not silent.
He'd be the dragon from Skyrim. Was he the dragon in Skyrim? There's no way.
I have no idea.
I'm
That
guessing.
sounds bad though. That like I don't want to go to dinner with someone who's making dragging noises for 2 hours.
Well, I mean, he's obviously talking about the talking one, probably. Well, maybe he's not. I don't know what they're talking about. Oh, he's been in a lot of stuff.
Apparently, in the chat, he was one of the dragons from Skyrim.
Oh, okay. If he was one of the dragons, then yeah, you're right. He probably was just making dragon sounds every now and then, screaming some words to like make thunder or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay,
know.
so you're going Wario. I'm going Luigi.
Yeah, I'm still going Wario probably. Oh, he was the narrator in Runner 3, who is also a playable character.
I did know that. Yes, that's
So that is my answer. But obviously,
that's just a normal guy though. He just has like normal guy voice.
Yeah, this question specifically also says between the 4.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that would be my answer. VGC Kenny writes, your favorite game is now an FMV game. How good or bad is it? I
Good.
mean, it's pretty similar.
What's your favorite game?
It's probably Resident Evil, which means it's just like a horror. Horror lends itself pretty well to FMV stuff, so it's probably pretty similar in a lot of ways.
So if I had to pick favorite game, I'll just for layman's terms, I'll just go Burnout Paradise. And
Yeah,
then you're putting FMV there, and now I'm thinking Need for Speed Most Wanted, Razor Callahan.
yeah, it
Hell
was.
yes.
That was the best Need for Speed game.
Yeah,
So makes
like
sense.
you just made my favorite game better. Like this is great.
That is to say, the old one, because they remade it and then they made another Need for Speed that was FMV that was terrible as well in like
I think they've done a
2019.
few
I
FMV
think.
stuff, like because
Oh,
I think like Underground is that the one that was right after the original Most Wanted?
maybe.
Anyways,
Yeah,
they've
I
done a
don't know.
few ones with FMV for sure. But I
Sure.
want like crappy '90s like
Yeah.
adventure game
No, of course. Yeah.
FMV. I enjoy Sam Barlow's high class FMV games as much as the next guy, but I'm always going to be a sucker for these
Yeah.
Vecchi Studios ones that come out.
I
So yeah.
agree, for sure.
Sukasuku, have you ever tried something new due to a video game? Like, let's say skateboarding because of Tony Hawk or shrooms due to Mario? How was the experience?
Due to a video game? No, probably not.
I don't think so. I'm trying to think if like Rock Band ever made me want to try like guitar or drums. Maybe if I was like a lot younger and I was like looking to like start big hobbies, maybe I would have done that.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Um,
Hmm.
I
Honestly,
don't think
no.
so. I don't think anything happened for me. No.
Final question from Hebrew Lantern. What is something common that has never happened to you? So I did read this because he messaged me and said, I have a final question. You can pull it or not pull it. But like, I was like, whatever. Like, our show is not going yet, so I'll pull it. So I read it and I was trying to think about this and I don't have an answer.
Really?
I
I bet I
think,
can think of some stuff.
okay. They have to
Have you
be
been to Europe?
common too.
Been to Europe?
You think commonly people have gone to Europe?
I feel like that's like the continent most people travel to. Yes.
No, and I don't think it's common either.
Which continent do you think is the most traveled to from people around you?
Um, sorry, I just read chat. um, yeah, I don't know. Probably North America.
Well, but they're in North America, so they're not going to travel
No,
to
for
North
us,
America.
there's more people in the Asias, and they travel all the time more
I'm
than we
saying
do.
people around in North. Okay, people in North America. I feel like the number one continent they travel to primarily is Europe.
Sure, and I'm saying that most people probably don't travel. Period, out of the continent.
Okay, I guess. I mean, probably technically, sure.
Yeah,
Um,
there was also this thing where what defines the word common? Because sure, if it's like for travelers or whatever, have you been to Europe would be I haven't gone to Europe, and that is a common thing for people who travel. So sure.
right. I mean, we're not going to be able to like
Yeah.
confirm that everything is common, but I feel like I would say traveling is common, but yes, there will always be a subset of people that haven't. Um, I'll try and think of more to ask you. I have two. I've never been high or drunk.
Okay. I've been both multiple times at every age of my life, basically.
So I would say both of those are definitely common for sure.
Yes.
Um, common that's never happened to you. Have you ever been in a car accident?
Yes.
Any degree of severity? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Multiple.
I think the only car accident I've ever been in is I backed into a parked car.
I was gonna ask you,
So
were you at fault or was someone else? I've been in both, and
I've done both. So I've backed into a parked car and I
yeah.
broke my tail light. And then on
Oh,
the
okay.
other side of it, and it was right when I was like learning to drive. So my dad was like, I had my learners and we were like driving to school, which is like one street
Yeah.
from his house. So he's like, "Hey, why don't you drive to school?" And okay, so I like stopped at the red light, but it
Yeah.
was winter, so the person behind me slid into the back of our truck, but we had a trailer hitch.
Yeah.
All it did was leave a hole in their front bumper. Didn't do anything to our truck.
Cool.
Okay, other common stuff. Have you been to a nightclub?
Yes. I've
Okay.
unfortunately done a nightclub.
You've been to a strip club?
I have.
Maybe that's not that common.
Yeah, and that's also probably maybe there was a time, but yeah, for like our generation, it's probably not that
I
common.
think it's like less and less common. That's true.
Yeah. I grew up
Um,
trying a lot of stuff, like at least once,
no, that's great. That's good.
if I could. Which is why
Yeah,
like the
no.
traveling thing is one that like is prohibitively expensive at some points in your life, so that's obviously why I haven't done that more, but
Here's a good one in the chat. Have you ever had COVID? I guess you have.
I have,
You
yeah.
did get it, right? Yeah. So I haven't, and that seems to be a common thing these days.
I mean, yeah.
All right. That'll do it for questions. If you have any questions next week, topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. What's your game of the week?
I mean,
What's your game of the month?
it's like what's one of your favorite games of all time? Elden Ring.
I'll also give it to Elden Ring. Our next TBP, which will be out on Monday, is going to be covering The Batman.
Yeah.
The submission thread for April's TDP Plus game is live. I did not realize this is one of the months with 5 Thursdays in it, so that'll
Yeah.
be live for 2 weeks before the poll goes up.
Sure. Okay.
And Paul, talk about the show notes.
Oh yeah. So we got some decent feedback from that survey. People can still fill that out if they want, by the way, and I'll check it periodically whenever I remember to. One of the things that few people have said is that they would like to see the show notes, and I figured that was something we could do. I'll just be copy and pasting the show notes when we're done. I'm not going to give like the show notes as we make them, obviously, or any of that stuff, and we want to make sure that there's no like weird privacy things about people who write in or any of that stuff. So we'll be copy and pasting the show notes out, but that's available for patrons at the $5 and up tier now. So you can just read that if you want.
Right, and yeah, you're going to be updating that on a somewhat regular basis, and you should know we put out all of last year's show notes a couple months ago, or
And one
whatever it
package.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's already over a year's worth of show notes if people like that kind of behind the scenes stuff. So that's over on Patreon.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for the show. We'll be back. Hopefully, all of us will be back next week, and we'll see you guys then.
Bye.